Hi, this is Aunty FLO, and this is the first story of my third book, and the title of this book is Caught Between a Rock and a Hard Place. This is a fictitious story about a lady named Becky Strauss. She was married to a man named Ben Strauss, and they had a son named Travis Strauss. Now, this is a little bit of an odd family because, first of all, they lived in the mountains near Wrightwood, California, which is east of Palmdale, California. It is so beautiful, though, when it snows. It is pretty much how they make their money because all the people come there. Well, lots of people come there to play in the snow during the winter months. For some reason, Ben and their son Travis never bonded and actually didn't care for each other. They constantly were at each other's throats, and sometimes they would sometimes they would come to blows, and they constantly competed for Becky's attention. It was a very odd relationship the three of them had. Becky was always stressed out because she actually felt like they were going to seriously hurt each other. By now, Ben is 46, Becky is 44, and Travis is 24. After high school, Travis never went to college or moved out or even brought a girlfriend home to meet his parents. He much rather compete with his dad for his mom's attention. As life moved on, one day Ben told Becky that he thinks, or that he believes, that Travis doesn't want a girlfriend because he's imagining being married to her. Weird. That shocked Becky. They talked and talked for a couple of hours, and the more they talked, the more afraid Becky became. Oddly enough, a couple of days later, Becky decided to take Travis for coffee at Starbucks, and she tried to start a conversation with him about getting a girlfriend and possibly getting married and bringing some grandkids home. Travis was not hearing her. He only wanted to talk about his dad and how he thinks his dad is planning on killing her for the $250,000 insurance policy that they have, claiming he overheard him talking to a single woman named Mimi who lived about a half mile down the road. So for years, Becky dealt with this and became totally stressed out. She became paranoid, and because both of them sound so convincing, she did not know who to believe. Plus, she loved both of them. Finally, Becky couldn't take it anymore. She went to see a psychiatrist and was prescribed Xanax. First, she felt better, but before too long, she started abusing the drugs and with drinking, and then this went on for a couple of years. Then she started going off on Ben and Travis for no apparent reason. But she noticed something about them. They seemed to have become friends now that she is so angry all the time. Then about 2 months later, Becky overdosed with liquor and antidepressant and was rushed off to the emergency room. She was revived and entered into a rehab for 90 days. She decided to stay longer because she did not want to go home because she felt like she was between a rock and a hard place at home between her husband and son. However, when she left the rehab after 6 months, she didn't tell her husband or son. She took a Lyft ride to the house around 8 o'clock p.m. It was dark outside, but of course the living room curtains were open, the lights were on. She walked up to the house. She did not ring the doorbell. And she listened to them talking, and guess what? They both had a woman over, and they were apparently eating and drinking, laughing and having a great time. Becky left without a word and rented a motel room for a couple of weeks. And then on the following Monday, she called an employment agency and went in for an interview, and a week later, she had a job in Palmdale. She loved that job, and she didn't bother to contact Ben or Travis for about a year. They finally realized she had been released from rehab almost 9 months earlier, and they hadn't heard from her because they didn't bother to visit her after the first 3 months of rehab anyway. They filed a missing persons report, and she was located. They all met for dinner, and for the first time, they had a civilized conversation. They both admitted they had women. Becky asked Ben for a divorce, and he agreed. A year later, Becky met this wonderful man, and they later married. And then occasionally she would meet up with Ben and Travis, and they would enjoy each other. But that is as far as it goes, because Becky never wants to be in that position again with the two of them. Everybody was happy in the end, and the lesson learned, not a good place to be between a rock and a hard place. The end.